But since we're talking about SmackDown, that means we are talking about the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, taking on the Viper, Randy Orton, to determine, after all is said and done, with all of the powers that have been on display, that have been revealed to the WWE Universe, what's it going to take to beat Bray Wyatt? It's going to take all of the power that Randy Orton has harnessed from the Wyatt compound, from the spirit and the essence of Sister Abigail. And before we jump into what we think about this matchup, let's talk about the end of SmackDown Live this past week. Graham, what the hell did we see at the end of SmackDown Live?
I have no idea. I could not even begin to guess what we saw on Tuesday night. It left me, I don't know if interested is the right word. Confused might be a better word going into this match on Sunday, because I'm not really sure what to expect.
What did we see? Describe the scene. Set the listeners out there, set them up with a play-by-play of what went down at the end of SmackDown Live this week.
A bit of a visual. So it looks like, again, I couldn't even begin to tell you. I was pretty confused by the end of this, but I think Orton was back at the site where he had burned the remains of Sister Abigail, where Bray Wyatt had then appeared the following week and said that Sister Abigail does not die. I mean, she's always with me, whatever. But apparently, the physical remains of Sister Abigail still remained where the house burnt down at the hands of Randy Orton. And he had the cross, and he stuck it where Sister Abigail's body was, claimed to be, appeared to be. I'm not exactly sure. So I guess that was somewhat of what we saw on Tuesday.
Yeah. So when he stuck this anti-cross, essentially, this instrument of the occult, into the ground that Bray Wyatt has obviously had tucked away, and we've seen glimpses of this abomination of an occult device in the background of some things, but never really understood its purpose, if it had one at all. But apparently it's a little bit more than an ornamental piece to this whole puzzle, because as Randy Orton drove this stake into the ground, into the heart and essence of Sister Abigail, he was surrounded by what appeared to be, and I can only define this in comic book terms, some type of demonic energy that clearly is a power that Bray Wyatt has been alluding to this whole time. I mean, we all thought that he was, just a backwoods occult whack job that had beliefs of power, beliefs of supernatural abilities. And we've seen, a little bit of Bray's control over these powers when he faced the Brothers of Destruction. We've seen him take over some of the elements of an arena. Certainly his followers out there in the audience play a part of that energy. But up until this point, we hadn't really seen any proof of the supernatural in the WWE. Bray Wyatt has been keeping this completely hidden from the WWE Universe, this entire true supernatural bent to what is happening, and Randy Orton has somehow, much like Bray Wyatt did, he gave him the keys to the kingdom. He gave him all the information. Everything that Bray Wyatt knew, Randy Orton now knows. That's the biggest mistake Bray Wyatt could have ever made, and now Randy Orton, we have to believe this going forward, Randy Orton is now a master of the supernatural and occult in the WWE. Does this automatically give him a power advantage over Bray Wyatt?
Absolutely. I mean, no one has spent more time with Bray Wyatt in the past 6 months than Randy Orton. He knows Wyatt inside and out more than anyone else in WWE right now. Having that power advantage is really what this match is all about. I know the WWE title is at stake, but really, that championship is a symbol of power in the WWE. And holding that championship, you are the most powerful entity in the entire company. And that's why Wyatt wants that title, to take it away from Bray Wyatt. Not only to be powerful himself, but to take that power away from the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk a little bit about a name we're not seeing anywhere on the card. We're not seeing him in the Battle Royal. We're not seeing him in any other competition at WrestleMania. But he has played a major factor in all of this. Mr. Eyeballs himself, Luke Harper. Do you think that Luke Harper is going to play a role in the outcome of this match?
I think he could. I don't think he will. I'm going to say Orton walks out the new champion, but I will say this. My bold prediction for the show here today is that if Wyatt does find some way to retain his title in this match, it's not going to be on his own. It's going to be from help. It's going to be with help from Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, because we saw a bit of it on Tuesday. I know the Orton stuff, we just talked about it. The stuff with Harper kind of got overlooked, was really kind of forgotten about, but he used those powers, Wyatt did, to, somehow manipulate Luke Harper and beat him, playing those mind games. Does Luke Harper now realize that he is weak without Bray Wyatt, and maybe he goes back to Wyatt? And Eric Rowan, we haven't seen in a while, maybe he resurfaces on Sunday. So, again, I don't think Wyatt will win, but if he does, it might be with the help of the original Wyatt family.
We did see Randy Orton detained and restrained by a sheep herd of Wyatt followers, very reminiscent of Eric Rowan's facial persuasion, I guess. Mm-hmm. But is Luke Harper, if Eric Rowan were to show up, would Luke Harper come out to combat that simply to see Bray Wyatt finally broken from that spell of being a champion and being in control of this power? And is Randy Orton a better fit to kind of compete against than what Bray Wyatt has to offer? I'm not sure, what's going to be best long term for someone like Luke Harper, but Luke Harper seems to be seeing more of the light, returning to a more normal kind of path. He certainly looks a little bit more kempt these days, but I do believe that Randy Orton has a major advantage going into this. Bray Wyatt, the only card up his sleeve would have been this supernatural forces that he commands. But if Randy Orton is in full possession of those now, I want to say that Bray Wyatt is just out of luck on this. And I don't know what that says for his future in the WWE, but certainly Randy Orton has had a long and legacy, if you will, of being a champion in the WWE. And I think this will be no different.